To become the world's first fossil-free welfare society, we need to work together. The Swedish government has set the target for Sweden to become that country, both because we believe it's the best development for our country, our citizens, but also because we want to show that it is possible to do exactly that. Because our way of building societies has been tremendously successful. I've seen it during my lifetime. I'm born in a small village in southeast of Turkey where we lived very primitive. We lived like you did in the Nordic countries in the 18th, 19th century. Seeing what has happened during the last century, during my journey from southeast of Turkey to Sweden, it is tremendously successful what we have been doing. But we know that it is not sustainable to continue do things the way that we have been doing. Therefore, when we set the target to become the first fossil-free welfare society in the world, we know and acknowledge that we need to work together. In the country, academia, private sector businesses, the public entities, the government and the parliament, the municipalities, the regions, we need to work together. We need to work together to find new ways of doing things, because to continue doing the things, doing business the way that we did yesterday will not solve many of the challenges we face ahead of us. And that translates to innovation. We need to innovate. We need to innovate when it comes to public policy. We need to innovate when it comes to business models. And we need to innovate when it comes to new technologies to solve the problems that we have created with our old technologies. Now, Sweden is, as you might know, continuously ranked as one of the most innovative economies in the world. Recently, the European Commission ranked us as #1 in the European Union for the second time around. And innovation is needed to create sustainable growth and sustainable change. I believe that Sweden, as a frontrunner, also has the possibility to have an impact on a global scale. Sometimes we lack confidence in our ability, and we say, well, we're just 10 million inhabitants. What kind of impact would we have? We are not China with 1.2 billion in inhabitants, or the superpower United States of America. But I think we tend to underestimate what is possible in a world who hungers for innovation, who hungers for sustainable ways of doing things. And I think we have, as global leaders when it comes to innovation, I think we have a unique opportunity to have a global scale with new innovations and new technologies. It's good for the environment, it's good for the climate, but don't hesitate. When I, as Minister for Business, Industry and Innovation, say this, I also, of course, also see huge business opportunities for this country with new jobs and sustainable growth created. Because if we want to change things in countries around the world, we need to start in this country, develop new knowledge, new innovations, and spread them around the world. Both the innovations themselves, but also how to build ecosystems for entrepreneurships and innovations. Now, UNOPS Innovation Center will not only be able to contribute to sustainable growth for individual entrepreneurs in developing countries. It will also be possible to support the growth of just what I was talking about, innovation ecosystems. Sustainable innovation ecosystems that are built on the principles of Agenda 2030, based on fair conditions, sustainability, circularity, environmental considerations, and not the least, equality. it is almost always easier to do right from the start than to change an already established culture. By creating an understanding of and contribution to incorporating these principles into a country's innovation system, the conditions for a long-term sustainable business and growth can be created. I'm also very pleased to hear the huge interest from the business community that we have been hearing about to contribute to the work that UNOPS is doing. Because collaboration between countries and between small and large companies is a powerful key to solving the challenges that we face together, that we have created, and that we together can solve for the future. Dear friends, sometimes when you look at the news, sometimes when you are seeing the development around the world, you can tend to become a bit pessimistic. But from my point of view, I think that in the crisis that we have, and without hesitation, there is a climate crisis there. Just really like we heard from Grete, describe what people around the world are meeting with heat, with droughts, with floodings, with hurricanes on a level that we could even imagine before. You could be a bit down, but remember this: if we put our minds to it, show leadership and innovation, and work together, business, academia, governments all over the world, I'm totally confident that we could solve almost all of those problems and at the same time develop our economies, create new jobs, and give people hope about a better future. Because in the end, what we have created, the problems that we have created, we are the only ones that could solve them. So I'm looking forward towards this cooperation. Innovation will have to be at the core of most of the solutions that we are seeing. And thank you for inviting me here. And I'm very excited to follow the work we have ahead of us. Thank you very much.